Are you both from Fredericksburg, or are you here from somewhere else? Because we've met a lot of people this last week who are in wherever they are in Texas by choice, not necessarily by birth.
Yeah, we're both from Texas. I'll let Judd speak for himself and his backstory. But we ended up here in our various paths in life. So I think a lot of people say transplants here locally. So I'm a transplant from Dallas.
Well, I'm originally from Texas. I was born in Houston, then moved to Austin, then I moved up north to go to school, and I just recently moved back about a year ago.
Now, John and Judd, but let me primarily ask you, you are the owner here. You are the man behind that wonderful meal we had this evening. Give our Canadian listeners an overview of what kind of restaurant this is. Judd, you want to start?
Sure. Actually, John and I were kind of having a conversation about that just about an hour ago. And, it has the idea of being a German bistro, but it has a lot of French influence too, because kind of the bistro originates from France. But, it's a lot of German food as well. And so kind of where are we going now? We're kind of I'm trying to incorporate a lot of the French technique and traditionality with using some German kind of thought and ideas and ingredients.
I think he said it.
Yeah, pretty much covered it.
Well, let's talk about how big a part, I mean, it's everywhere, but talk to me about the influence of German culture here in town, because it feels like that's more dominant than even American culture in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, 50 years ago, German was the spoken tongue here locally, and you can definitely see the influence in the Hill Country in general, not just Fredericksburg, but San Antonio, Austin. Out here, I think there's that spirit of, kind of like homesteading and things like that have influenced what we do at the restaurant in particular, as far as like curing meats, just, sourcing locally, that kind of pioneer spirit, but that also happened to be German. So, culturally, it's lasted, after all these years.
Chef, do you grow anything on site here?
We do. We grow a lot of vegetables, some vegetables kind of next door, a lot of herbs. There's actually local lemongrass that's growing now, banana leaves, all sorts of things.
I always ask this, and again, I can ask both of you. Every time I run into someone who runs a restaurant, owns a restaurant, I ask the same question, because the answers you get back are hilarious. What did each of you have for breakfast this morning?
What did I have? I didn't have breakfast this morning.
See? Because he's saving up for the rest of the day.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I think that's the most common answer. I didn't eat breakfast either, but my dinner was a shot of pork shank juice. So,
Do you know why I think you two basically skip breakfast? Because the portions here are incredible. We've been commenting since the get-go, from day number one here. I think that our Canadians would be amazed. The portions are fabulous, and there's a lot of them. Do you hear that a lot here?
Typically, no. I think there's a cultural difference between our portion sizes, definitely. In America, we eat in excess, and we overproduce, and we want large things, we want grandiose things. But in other cultures, Europe, Canada, they tend to always eat smaller, and so there is a noticeable difference, especially here in Texas.
All right, I want to ask you, Canadian listeners, right now, they're going to come here, they're going to check out Otto's. What should they be ordering? Let me start with you, John. What should they be ordering?
Just the one constant is the duck schnitzel, for sure. It's been on our menu since we started, pretty much, and anytime we think about taking it off, we get death threats in the mail, so we'll just have to keep it on.
Well, actually, I recently started here a little over a month ago, and so tomorrow, I wish y'all kind of showed up tomorrow, because I'm implementing all these menu changes.
We'll stay. Do you want to stay another day?
Okay, well, wait a minute. Talk to me about the menu changes. What's coming in?
There's several things. I have this beautiful pork shank that's going on tomorrow that it just, did a nice beer braised, and there's a lot of German flavor in it. Some black cod, various things.